Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're looking at the SLAM, the Strategic Long Range Artillery Machine. All this is provided to us from yojo.com. So, as we go through, like we normally do, it's just that there's, again, a ton of ads here. So, I just kind of put it over here in a Word document. So, this is from Series 6 from 1987. The SLAM Strategic Long Range Artillery Machine was first released in the United States in 86 or in 87 here. I'm sorry. It was sold in 88 and unfortunately was discontinued in 89. Um, we do have some wonderful views here from yojo.com. We have a nice front view and we get to see the four cannons and the 10 missiles here. And we get a nice rear view and a top down view. So as you can see, we do have room for two different characters. It looks like they're, in some regards, it almost looks like they're facing opposite directions of each other. So one I'm going to guess is the gunner. The other one's probably taking coordination and all that. Looking at this, because this is an artillery piece, I have a very limited knowledge of artillery. From what I do know is, somebody calls in and says, "Hey, we need it to go here and there," and you have a spotter. So I'm going to guess you have one person that's actually guiding it as to where it needs to go, and the other one that's actually relaying as far as what those directions need to be. So if they shoot it and they need to adjust fire, they can adjust it a little bit left or right or up or down or whatever, and then they can go from that point. And now we have some isometric views, which are kind of nice to see. And this also looks like, because there is no tow point. Did I miss that? Nope. Um, Oddly enough, this looks like it is a self-propelled artillery piece. Just kind of going from there, it looks like it is a fully self-propelled artillery piece. So I was thinking this was towed originally, but I guess maybe I'm wrong. So I will have to kind of look at that when we bring up our stats here. So we have our isometric views here. And of course, this is turreted, so that way you can adjust it left to right to whatever you need it to be. We have the legs to go out there to keep it nice and stable. And yojo.com gives us some nice um, box art here, and then we go into our schematics. So we have a titanium alloy micro mesh armored turret, fire control monitor, ballistic computer, fire control personnel seat, turret rotation, target acquisition seat, target acquisition computer, auto load / ammo containment housing, barrage thermal night vision control, mini missiles, slider hydraulically operated support arms, dug in support feet or arm feet, four up 90 millimeter cannons. So this is a little bit bigger than what the HISS tank actually has. 600 horsepower engine, hydrostatic transmission, so self propelled, and dust eliminating engine inhalator. So the interesting thing is we have a small self propelled vehicle that we could have, um, like I was seeing in some of our other videos. We have the Road Toad, we have our coastal defense unit, coastal defender, and that. So we could actually tow those with this at a slow speed here. Okay, so we have easily broken and or lost pieces. We have 10 small orange missiles that are unfortunately easily lost. The SLAM was featured in several various pieces of media throughout the years, including trading cards, comic books, cartoons, and commercials. Here it is in one of the Marvel covers. Um, see if I can't increase the size here so you can see it a little bit better. And unfortunately, it does, but it doesn't. So, and then we have it also featured in a commercial. Variations. At the time of this, there's no known variations to exist. The vehicle construction, the vehicle was molded, or was mold. Uh, the vehicle was, uh, if I can speak this morning, it would just be wonderful. The vehicle mold was repainted or retooled for the following vehicles. There was only one SLAM mold. So, um, normally I pass over the original, but there was no extra mold for this or whatever known to this date, at least to Yojo.com. Internationally, we had different box covers for Canada. Um, and I did want to put in here the original price in '87 was $3.49. So, that's really a cool price point to sit here and say, hey, we can get something like this for the kids. Um, it is a smaller vehicle, but as a kid, a vehicle was a vehicle, and it was cool to get stuff like this. So, um, you know, it is nice to think about it in those regards. All right, so as we bring this in now, I didn't change anything from what I had before, so we will have to kind of do a little modification here because, like I said originally, I thought this was towed. So if it's not a towed machine, then we have to kind of figure out what we have here. Um, so going from that point, and I'm going to kind of cheat here, and you'll kind of see me kind of flip back and forth. Uh, I'm going to look at the Persuader. Now, the Persuader is going 104 miles an hour. That's a little on the fast side. So then I kind of look at something else here. Uh, 50. This is wheeled, so maybe we can give it 50. So we'll do a copy paste here from there. Um, and you get to see my little way of doing things here. If I can get over here. And then, unfortunately, I think I'm having a little bit of an issue. Oh, come on. I got a little button here that says, I don't know if you can see it or not, but for sharing and all that. So if I'm having a hard time because it's in the way, then I'm having a hard time here. Okay. So this is at speed or scale. Um, this comes from the Coastal Defender. I just kind of copied it, but then I had to edit things. So um, we kept it at speed or scale, roughly about 10 feet or so. But if it's self propelled, actually, the length I think we do need to increase. I think we're going to put it at about 20 feet, and that means that we're roughly about 20, not 120. Um, and then that takes us out to about 6 meters um, instead of 3 meters. All right, and then I have to change the crew because we obviously see that we have a crew of two, not one. We're not going to have any passengers. I think cargo, we're going to keep that at about 2 metric tons for anything it's got to carry on here, all the extra ammo, whatever. Um, 1/2 coverage sounds about right. It is going to be ground altitude, maneuverability, because it's now moving on its own. I don't think it's going to be the greatest. I'm going to give it a 1D plus 2. Um, Thinking about it in those regards, you know, how well is it going to go? It should have a nice tight turn radius is what I'm trying to say. It does look like there's like 4 sets of wheels here. It's a artillery piece. It's not really meant to be a very fast and mobile vehicle. The other thing is it also has the turret on it, so that way, whatever it can't make up for maneuverability, it should be able to plant itself down and then get it going. Body strength, I think, at 2D works out pretty good. This should be a rear guard piece. It shouldn't be a front line piece, so a 2D would work out really well in my mind. Now we have the quad blaster cannons at speed or scale, and I have them because it's all four of them. We're doing 9D. Okay, um, trying to keep this. I actually looked and grabbed from the Hiss tank. So the Hiss tank was doing 7D damage. So if I'm adding 2 extra cannons on there, I'm going to up that damage by 2D. That's where I'm getting this from. So if you want to know where I'm getting it from, I literally looked over at the Hiss tank, took it from a dual to a quad, and then I upped the damage by 2. So it kind of keeps that all in perspective. If we want to look at this as a bigger artillery piece, we can increase the range, and maybe that is something that we should think about doing. And the missiles, I know it's air-to-air missiles. Why don't we take the air-to-air out and just leave it as missiles? Because That way, it's more of a general purpose, and we can use it for whatever. And the missiles can kind of help for anything a little bit closer. So let's increase the range here. Let's go out. Um, let's say our minimum range is going to be out to 600 meters. So we're going to have our medium range here about 2 kilometers. And in our long range, why don't we go out about 6 kilometers? Okay, that gets us a little extra range there, building all that in. So, just kind of looking at it in those regards. Whether I'm right or wrong, it could always be kind of argued. But I'm thinking if this is a mobile artillery, let's give it a little extra range. I know that there are times where GI Joe has given a lot farther ranges. I'm just taking a stab in the dark. So, again, and as always, these are my estimates of what I think the stats should be. If you think the stats should be changed, from one thing to another, feel free to change it. I'm just trying to come up with what feels about right. It doesn't mean I have full expertise on some of this stuff. I don't know how far out artillery pieces can go. I know they can go for miles. I understand that. I don't know how far. So, and I know there's people out there that have sent me messages and explained some of this stuff well beyond what my little limited knowledge is. And I really do appreciate all that, because the only way I can learn is by people explaining things that my little pea-sized brain just doesn't know. But, just trying to get a good feel. And it doesn't always have to have that really long range, because sometimes, a piece like this in a role playing game might just simply be something that you walk by. Maybe it's something in a motor pool that there's a couple of them out there and you're walking by it. We're not actively using it because we're using stuff that's more short range. Or maybe you do have a campaign that requires a long range. I don't know. Everybody plays a little differently. I understand that. I respect that. But, here we are. But with that, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for visiting. It's always appreciated. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.